time, so it's very well articulated. And that's what everybody says. It debuted at #1 on Amazon.com. It's called Pursuit of Life, An Extraordinary Journey. NBC News Nightly News with Tom Brokaw featured her and part of our documentary. There's a lot of wit and wisdom in the book, and I just couldn't recommend it more. So without further ado, I would like you to just let Sandy's going to say a few words to you. And Sandy, please.
Okay, so here I am saying a few words. My first words are thank you. Thank you. With such appreciation in my heart for Ashley, for putting this together today, for celebrating me for so many years, for supporting me in so many ways, for coming to, where was it in Virginia? Rocky Mount, Virginia. And with this great team, with everybody who we have others here who are doing it. And during the documentary, I have been indeed blessed by knowing you, and I thank you so, so, so much. And thank you all for coming. It's a pleasure and a privilege to meet you and get to see you. The name of the book, Pursuit of Light. And if you don't have a light bulb, please don't leave without one, because there's a little stress release thing, and besides, it's got my website on it. So it serves a multitude of purposes. The name of my book is Pursuit of Light, An Extraordinary Journey, because that's what it's been, an extraordinary journey. I started out in a place that few people literally survive. When I was a child, the level of trauma and cruelty and abuse almost took my life more than once. So it is literally, through the grace of God or the force of whatever it is that we are, that I am physically alive. It is through that same grace that I was allowed to find the avenues for healing and ultimately find the avenues for joy. Pursuit of Light tells the story of my past, but not for the purpose of getting you into that story, just so that you have the backstory of what turns into an extraordinary triumph of the Spirit. Because what joins us is not our differences, but our similarities. So we can be here in this wonderful room, in this beautiful home with Ashley. We can have different backgrounds, we can have different cultures, we can have different politics. And it's all interesting, but it doesn't make a lot of difference if we all come from a place of heart. We can have the inspiration of disagreement if we come from heart, because what joins us is the fact that there's humanity. If we can remember humanity today, if we can treat ourselves and each other with humanity every moment, if we can look into the mirror tonight and instead of saying, oh my God, not you, but me, I'm looking 65, if we can look in the mirror tonight and say, instead of, you know, I don't like this or I don't like that, if we could look in the mirror tonight and look at ourselves through the eyes of love, then I can look at you any day, any moment, any time through the eyes of love, because I've already owned them. I've already seen them. When we did the children's program, the one way if you wanted to start a range war, if any of the kids wanted to start a range war, and remember all of these kids that we brought in were extremely traumatized kids. We would bring in 50 kids at a time and keep them for 4 weeks residentially, and my staff would grow to close to 50 also. All of these kids were severely abused. All of these kids had horrific parents. I mean, we don't, they matched mine in being really dark creatures. If you wanted to start a range war, all the kid had to do was say to another kid the equivalent of, so is your mother. You know? Now, all of these mothers were in jail, mind you. So there wasn't a good mother in the group. And I realized watching these children that what their issue was they were afraid that the only way that they could ever know love was to redeem the concept of their specific mother. And they didn't understand that what they were seeking wasn't that physical human being who had failed them so miserably, but the concept that they were lovable. So what I think we can do, if we choose to embrace ourselves, if we choose to let go of the idea that he or she done me wrong, even though they did, trust me, my parents done me wrong. If can choose to let go of it. That isn't the focus of my life. The focus of my life is what I get to choose to do with it. If I can look through the eyes of love, then I can look at a child and teach them the eyes of love. So our need to know that we are loved is innate within us. If we will share that every day, if we will find a way, in the most simple way. I remember there was a time, and I spoke about this when I spoke at Pepperdine, that there was a time when I was 8, 9, 10, I'd have to go back more clearly and remember. But one of the things that, one of the more benign things my mother did was if she knew that I wanted something, she would make sure that didn't happen. So all the kids were going fishing, and it was a secret part. All the kids were going fishing, and one Friday night, and I accidentally let her see I wanted to help. And she didn't, and she heard it, and so I thought, uh-oh, that means, you know, it's over. And on one of the rare times I let myself cry, because that would, I would just have it worse if I cried. So I let myself cry, and there was this wonderful German woman that lived 2 doors down from us, and it was like an outside neighborhood block party. And she saw what was going on, and with her thick German accent, she said to me, honey, wait just a moment and I'll be right back. And she went inside and she came back with one, and only one, dish of freshly baked bread pudding with 2 scoops of whipped cream on it. I, for probably 3 decades, did not remember whether or not I liked the bread pudding. But I promise you, I never forgot it. So we can be bread pudding any day. We can be bread pudding first to ourselves, and then to each other, and then to the people we've never seen before. If we just let go of our opinions, we can have differences, but we don't have to get caught up in our opinions. If we just lead with love, we can let our lives transform, and without even knowing it, we might be the key of transformation for someone. As a little girl, that bread pudding was one of the few genuinely giving things an adult ever did for me. So you never know when that can happen. It's a delight to be here. It's a delight to get to know you. It's a delight to get to say hello to you. And I'm so appreciative that you took the time just to listen to me chat for a few minutes. Thank you so much, and thank you.